The highs, the lows. Win by a mile, lose by a nose. Anticipation, frustration, trying to find that winning combination. It will make you smile, it can make you cry, but you'll never succeed if you don't try. And if you fall down, get straight back up, because this is life. This is our Fun Cup. Hello and welcome to round 3 of the Fun Cup here at Snetterton. Now this championship is all about endurance, never more so than today, because ahead lies a 6-hour race, the result of which is almost impossible to predict. We can't even take a look at the form book, because this year there is no form book. So we're ready for round 3 of the Fun Cup Championship. A 6-hour race lies ahead. A random grid draw sees Track Focused on pole position. JPR Race Logic starts second on row 2. JPR Motorsport and Porsche Byfleet. Eco Racing were fastest in qualifying, but they start down in 16th place. Once again then we're going to have a rolling start. The lights go out and they charge down towards Riches, and there's contact already. Team Tiger go off, bang, into the barriers. I think they made contact with the silver and black Track Talk car. Meanwhile the Track Focus car is going to get the lead of the race into turn 1 at Riches corner. Porsche Byfleet have tucked in behind for second place. Everybody filters their way through except for Ben Baton in the Team Tiger car, which is crabbing. It's completely wrecked the suspension by the looks of things and a puncture. You're on board with Julian Thomas for Race Logic. Porsche Byfleet dropped back from second to fourth after the first corner, but they got one back coming past Julian there. He goes up through the sequential gearbox, a 5-speed gearbox on these cars, and thundering down the 1 kilometre long Bentley Straight then down towards Brundle Corner, so down to fourth place for the Race Logic car from the front row of the grid. It's the red car 107 of Dominic Jackson, JPR Motorsport, that leads the way. Good to see Dominic back, multiple race winner in the championship in years gone by, so he leads the field in second place. Back to second has come the Porsche Byfleet car, at least he's trying to get second around the outside of the Track Focus car. There is Team Honeywell, reigning champions, current championship leaders in the diesel class. You're on board with Steve Johansson, championship leader in the petrol class, trying to go around the outside of Julian Thomas. He gets boxed in as he tries to get around the track focus car. 263 Scarab Racing comes all the way around the outside through Coram Curve, then has a look up the inside of the way to Murray's, locks the brake, gets side by side with the track focus car, and then he gets bogged down through the corner, and Race Logic comes charging back past as they thunder onto the centre straight at the end of lap number 1. Action packed. Most of them survived. JPR Motorsport lead the way. Porsche Byfleet, Scott Kavanagh, he's there in second place. Then it's the track focus car doing well in third. Race Logic just about hanging on to fourth spot. Look at Eco Racing car 209. Tom Mills from 16th on the grid, already into the top 10. Right behind him, you're on board with CCS Media. Ciro Carinanti also going well here. And then at the inside of the Team Jota car, the white car goes Tom Mills. At least he tries to. Not quite close enough to attack on the way to the Montreal hairpin. They're going to go left now through Chapman. Find their way onto the straight. Ciro Carinanti gets a tremendous drive. Draws alongside Tom Mills now as he goes up through the sequential gearbox. But the turbo diesel power of Tom Mills' Eco Racing car is superior in a straight line. He pulls back ahead, gets past the Team Jota car as well, and eventually picks up the place. And up ahead, his next target is going to be the Team Honeywell car, which is having a battle as well to try and get in the top 6. There is Dominic Jackson leading for JPR Motorsport. Second is Scott Kavanagh for Porsche Byfleet. Track Focus, JPR Race Logic and Scarab are third, fourth and fifth respectively. Good to see the 262 car going well here at the start of the race. Sean Cooper, Mike McCullum and Neil Smith sharing driving duties in that one. And there is Jolly Roger Racing, the reigning champions in the petrol class. Mike Humphries behind the wheel now, and you can see the rear view there just behind. He's got a bit of a gap, trying to catch up those ahead. Team Jota is the next one, and that's just been overtaken by the black car, JPR Ecuria Scargo. We've always had bad luck here at Snetterton, certainly last year they did, but as a team should be challenging for the championship, and it looks like a good defence of the title. He's on board already for Jolly Roger Racing. They've had a good start to the season, have been very competitive in the 2 rounds so far. That's the 200 car, one of the new teams this year, and that's Ted Reddick, Bryn Griffiths and Paul Austin sharing driving duties. Now we've got an attack here. The JPR Race Logic car trying to go around the track focus machine. Julian Thomas in the blue car, and disappointing results in the first round of the championship, but they were quick and won their class at Croft for round 2. Now they're trying to catch up on points. On board with Team Honeywell, and he's closed up to the tail of Scarab Racing now. So you've got the 4 of these battling away here for podium position. 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th, all nose to tail as they come onto the Bentley straight. On board with Neil Plimmer, the turbo diesel car. The 3 ahead of him are all petrol sequentials, which are very quick, very evenly matched to the slightly more powerful diesel class cars around here. Certainly quicker out of the slow corners. And now the JPR Race Logic car, he's on the attack, trying to go around the outside of track focused as they come up towards the left-hander at Brundle. He's done it, and look, Team Honeywell all the way around the outside of them. And Eco Racing, Tom Mills gets in on the mix as well. Look at this fantastic battle we've got for 3rd place. Race Logic go 3rd, Honeywell go 4th, 5th is Eco Racing. Anyone's guess for 6th, but it might be Scarab that's just about snuck through. I think it is. Steve Johansson going backwards 1 and forwards 1, but he's in the top 6. So great stuff as they come now into the final corner at Murray's and head up towards the centre straight. Julian Thomas having a really good run here at Snetterton. Meanwhile, the leaders come over the start-finish line down towards Riches, and they're side by side. Scott Kavanagh in the green Porsche Byfleet car going for the lead of the race, and he's got it. That's good to see, because they've had terrible luck at the start of the year. 2 DNFs in the first 2 rounds, really putting them on the back foot already in the championship. You're on board now with the Eco Racing car, which must be trying to go around the outside of Honeywell. It is. It didn't quite do it, and the Honeywell car comes back down the inside, and we got a spin here coming out of Murray's. That's the 104 Scuderia X-Cat car. It avoids contact, should get re-going, but it's going to lose a few places, probably drop to the back of the grid. Back on board with Tom Mills, coming onto the Bentley straight now. He gets in the tow. Both of these are diesel-powered cars. They should be very evenly matched, but the Eco car's got the tow, got the draft. He's almost waved through by Neil Plimmer. He's not going to fight him too hard. Let's work together, he says, and catch the lead group. So you can't do anything about that. And through comes the Eco Racing car to pick up yet another place. And back around the outside goes Dominic Jackson to get the lead straight back from the Porsche Byfleet car. So JPR Motorsport back to 1st, Porsche Byfleet 2nd, JPR Race Logic 3rd, Eco 4th, Team Honeywell 5th, and then Steve Johansson in 6th place, also going well in his class, of course, because the 2 directly ahead of him are not in his class. They are turbo diesel-powered cars. Now this is a replay at the start. Look to the right-hand side of the picture. The orange Team Tiger car, made contact with Henry Dawes in the Track Talk car and then done it in the barrier. That was where the damage was done. A 720-degree spin. Luckily, not collected by anybody else. He went on the grass. Here's a replay from Ciro Carinanti. Look to the left, you can see the Team Tiger car clattering the barriers. Happily, Benny's okay, but that car is anything but, and real disappointment for Team Tiger. Strong competitors normally. He crabbed it back to the pit lane, but it's game over, race over, before they even got to the end of lap 1. Here are the leaders then, they're all together. Eco Racing's gone up to 3rd place now, JPR Race Logic's 4th. Team Honeywell has had a slight off on the previous lap and has dropped down to 5th place. There's the 262 car of Track Focus, which started on pole position. Some of the more powerful diesels has come past, but it's still mixing it in the top 10. On his tail now with the onboard camera is Ciro Carinanti, who closes up under braking just ahead of them. You've got the race 1 winners, round 1 winners in the orange car. That is Spirit Fitness Team O'Brien. Out of the pits comes Henry Dawes in the 106 Track Talk Domino's car. Damage after that contact with Team Tiger off the line, so that's had an unscheduled pit stop and has dropped to the back of the field. Meanwhile, Eco Racing now coming through alongside, goes second, surely gets alongside the Porsche Byfleet car and is going for the lead of the race. More power, the sequential petrol class car can't do anything about it, and into the lead comes Eco Racing, and Porsche Byfleet follows him through on board with Dominic Jackson. The former race leader drops down to 3rd. Back up to 4th has come Team Honeywell. There's changes almost in every corner in this race. I think it was an endurance race. They're hardly pacing themselves, are they, for this 6-hour run? Now you're on board with another team that's had lots of bad luck this year. Car 103 G&T Racing drawing alongside the 110 JPR Motorsport car, and Adrian Duggleby, who you're right on board with. A nice move there up the inside to gain a place. He's made quite a few places up at the start of the race. There are the leaders coming through. The 107 Dominic Jackson car just running a little bit wide, kicking up the dust. On board with Ciro Carinanti as he goes through Murray's and very much onto the dirt. There goes the Track Focus car, and this surely is going to be a place gained by Ciro Carinanti. Superior acceleration out of the corner, and he goes through. Team Honeywell having a lurk to get up the inside, but Neil Plymouth can't find a way past Dominic Jackson. Dominic had a bit of a ragged run onto the centre straight, but I feel it's only a matter of time before the Team Honeywell car comes through. Crowd enjoying the action at the start of this race. There's Team Jota doing well, running in the midfield. The 103 car of Adrian Duggleby you saw taking the move, and then just behind him the 110 car, JPR Motorsport car, now coming under pressure from Global Racing as we head for a break.
Welcome to another episode of Racing No Filter. Joining me in sunny California, Bill Wood, and down in sunny Florida, Peter Keene.
We're going to take a look at some of the products HPD has created for the 2012 Honda Civic, and specifically we're going to show you how to install an adjustable sway bar.
Until then, folks out there, you take care.
Want to keep up with all the racing action at the track? Well, download the new GoRacingTV iPhone and Android app. And remember to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Welcome back to Snetterton, round 3 of the Fun Cup Championship. We had a terrific start to the race. There's a battle going on here inside the top 10. The 207 car of Spirit Fitness Team O'Brien gets into a spin. Track Focus spins as well at Murray's corner, and they both go off. And the Track Focus car, which started in pole position, gets going again. The dust settles. Spirit Fitness Team O'Brien car will get going eventually, but it's going to lose a load of time. And absolutely sideways on the way to the Montreal hairpin for Julian Thomas on board the JPR Race Logic car, which is running well inside the top 5, battling for a class win as well. But the Porsche Byfleet car comes back ahead, so the green machine of Scott Kavanagh gets a place back. There is the overall race leader, Tom Mills, in the Eco Racing car. Let me remind you, from 16th on the grid. Second place then goes the Porsche Byfleet car. Third, JPR Race Logic. They're first and second in class. Now here's a replay from Jolly Roger. They're about to be passed by the 99 G&T car of Lawrence Howlett, Rory Brown and Damien Hughes. Damien, whose son Dan is a keen go-kart racer and always watches the shows. It's been pleased to see Dad going well here. Good move that by the team around the outside. It's the replay, though, of that mix-up at Murray's corner. The two spinners and gaining 3 places with Jolly Roger White there when all that happened. Now, here is Julian Thomas working his way up through the sequential gearbox. He's got a good run out of that corner, out of Murray's, and he's back onto the tail. This is for the class lead of the Porsche Byfleet car for second place overall, and around the outside he goes. So back into the class lead for JPR Race Logic. third then overall, and second in class for Porsche Byfleet. This the battle for fourth place, and Team Honeywell come through ahead of Scarab. Scarab still third in class, and then JPR Motorsport, the 107 car, which was at the front of the field earlier on, has dropped back behind the pair of them now. It's a really good scrap that's been going on here for a number of laps between the 110 car, the JPR Motorsport car of Oliver Vine, Mark Hope and Ben Sharich, and on the tail end, the Track Talk Run Global Racing car trying to find a way past. Two more cars having a battle. This is Scuderia X-Cat, the 104 car, which had a spin earlier on, trying to make its way back up through the field now. It's just got ahead of one of the newcomers this season, car number 21, Team Ecuri Helga, Adrian Fleming, Adrian Barwick, Mark Cox and Mark Lewis sharing the driving on that one. And now we go into the first round of pit stops, and in come Scarab Racing. So Steve Johansson about to step out and hand over to Bram de Groot. Lots of pit stops today, every half an hour in this 6-hour race. The Porsche Byfleet drag Scott Kavanagh out of the car, and behind, the Track Focus machine is being pushed out of the garage. So that's had dramas and a longer pit stop than it needed. Right, Eco Racing leading the way. Jason Simon on board, new to the team for this year, doing a solid job, still leading, but up to second. Jeff Fawcett, Team Honeywell, as ever the team gaining places in the pit stops. It's gone ahead now, the JPR Race Logic car, which has got still behind the wheel Julian Thomas, who's double stinting here. He's third, but he's leading the petrol sequential class. And now we've got a battle royale here for second place in the class. The Porsche Byfleet car on its tail with the onboard now is Bram de Groot trying to squeeze through, almost gets through at the Montreal hairpin, and probably wisely backed out of that one. And on board now, just behind them, also in the top six, this is Ben Lack now on board the JPR Motorsport car. And just outside the top six, the number 99 car, Lawrence Howlett, now charging through the field up to 7th place for G&T. On board with Jolly Roger Racing White. They've also made their way up into the top 10, and that is the team which, by the narrowest of margins, won the Petrol Class Championship last year, looking to defend the title with much more competition for them this year. Despite the earlier spin, the 207 Spirit Fitness Team O'Brien car, which won round one in terms of the sequential Petrol Class, is still in the top 10. It's in 9th, and that's the 10th place car. Former world karting champion Stuart Ziemlis now behind the wheel for this second stint, that car running in 10th place. Okay, into the pits, this is Global Racing. They've had a very good start to the race, lots of good battles. They've made their way up to the midfield. Let's hear now then from one of their drivers, Steve Machin.
No, you don't get much rest, but it's actually really good because you get a shorter stint. You get 30 minutes, but you get 30 minutes to drive really hard, whereas if you're doing longer 40, 50-minute stints, you've got to pace yourself a bit more.
How's the car running?
Really well. Yeah, really good. We're starting to bring our times down right at the end, which doesn't seem right, but that's what's happening.
On board with Jolly Roger Racing, onto the tail now of the Porsche Byfleet car, and this team are absolutely storming in the middle of the race, challenging now for a podium in their class. Also going well, that is on the pit wall there, James Swift, his teammate Henry Dawes. The pair of them have come from the back of the grid after their first one stint into the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been like 5 hours of qualifying laps, and I'm tired, you know. It was really hard, that last stint, but you know, when you get in there, you just push as hard as you can, but we really had to go all out to try and bring it back up. The car's just been good, you know. Obviously it got knocked, and it wasn't that good for Henry's first stint, but the team did a great job and they managed to straighten it back out. And I mean, it was looking like that from practice yesterday, that we had some good pace, and of course you come on because Henry pushes you so hard, you know, so as a team we're pushing each other forward.
Also going well, the 104 Scuderia X-Cat car, that has worked its way back up into the middle of the pack after the early spin, which put it near the back. And there is a move here, potentially for Team Honeywell, the number 1 car, trying to get around the outside of Eco Racing. First and second they are, and nose to tail in the middle of this race, nothing between them. Third, still leading its class, is the 263 Scarab Racing car, Steve Johansson back behind the wheel, but there's drama here for Jolly Roger Racing. A smoking left tyre, that's had a knock-luck, and the bodywork is rubbing on the tyre, a trail of smoke coming from behind it, and that does not look good. They've got themselves up into second in class, dropping back down the order with problems, I'm afraid. That's the JPR Race Logic car, but it's starting to charge back through the field. And into the top 3 now in class has come the 88 JPR Curious Scargo car. Going well, and look at the 2 leaders in the distance there, absolutely together, and Eco Racing just about holding on to the lead of the race as it comes into the left-hander at Brundle, then into the right-hander at Nelson. And there's drama for 99, G&T Racing. That car had been going very well, but it's limping along, and that is going to put it out of any chance of a top 6, and in with a puncture after that bodywork was rubbing. That is Jolly Roger Racing.
Bit of a disaster, really, running second. We'd had a bit of luck with the safety car. We'd got a 20-second gap on the car behind us, and then we got a nudge up the back and flat tyre knocked it down to 8th. So, disaster. I mean, there's a lot of very closely matched cars now, so it's very much down. All you need is a little bit of bad luck, like that puncture. You know, without that, we're running second quite comfortably. You get a puncture down to 8th, claw your way back. That's all it takes, which makes it very exciting.
Real shame for Jolly Roger Racing, and this car's also had more bad luck. G&T Racing 1 has dropped out of contention. Just in front of it, still going well in the top 10 though, and a couple of laps ahead, the CCS Media car. There's the Track Talk car, up to 4th place now after dropping right to the back of the field for the Track Talk Domino's car. There is number 1, the leaders, Team Honeywell, into this final stint now, but Paul Abraham is closing fast on Jeff Fawcett. Unbelievable this. 5 3/4 hours of racing, and they're almost nose to tail still, but he had one safety car in the race as well. And in for a precautionary tyre change. This is Scarab Racing, they're 3rd, they're leading their class, but they've got lots of time in hand to make this tyre change, still get back out, and still take their first ever class win. Steve Johansson and Bram de Groot. Right, there are the leaders, got past the 207 car now, which is lapped, and they're closing fast like Eco Racing. It's brought the gap down by a couple of seconds on this lap. Paul Abraham has got the bit between his teeth here. Good to see back into the championship. Pete Flynn, Mike Lockyer and Russell Long, the Nightingale Racing team, are on course for a good finish despite not having the more modern sequential gearbox. They've been going quickly. The 107 car, JPR Motorsport, is on for a top 10 finish as well after leading early on. And now look at the leaders. You're on board with Eco Racing. Paul Abraham, with a lap and a bit to go, has closed right onto the tail of Jeff Fawcett. Look at this, nearly 6 hours are up. They're just about to go on to the final lap of the race, and they're absolutely together. And the quicker of the two drivers at this stage of the race is Paul Abraham. He's got the tow as well. Is he going to go too early though? Has Jeff got time to fight back? Around the outside he goes. Has he got the lead of the race? He has. Lights on. His nose is in front and into the lead on the final lap of this 6-hour race. Just about goes Eco Racing. Jeff Fawcett didn't make it easy, but Paul Abraham goes through on the way to Rich's corner. Tremendous move. That is a replay on board with Jeff Fawcett. Not much you could do about that. Eco quicker out of the final corner and up the centre straight into the lead. Well, Scarab Racing, Bram de Groot, he's almost home. That pairing on course for their first ever victory in the Fun Cup Championship in class. But the overall winners, as the flag comes out, are Eco Racing. Paul Abraham did it on the last lap of the race. Team Honeywell a second, but they will lead the championship standings. What a race then. Let's take a look at results then. Eco Racing win by just a couple of tenths from Team Honeywell. Scarab Indigo are 3rd, but the petrol class winners. Track Talk Domino's are the Great Recovery to 4th. The Curious Cargo are 5th, and CCS Media are 6th. Let's hear from our 2 class-winning teams.
Fantastic race, but also a fantastic final stint from you.
Excuse me, just give me a second.
Does it taste nice?
It's fantastic. It's not screw much like the last stuff. Yeah, it was do or die. These guys kept us in it. Our pit crew kept us in it all day long. They pulled a bit of a gap earlier on, and we knew we were in the game. And when I came back out, it just seems a long way down the road, but it was do or die.
Yeah, I don't think you were interested in second today, were you?
No, second wasn't going to happen under any circumstances. And with 1 lap to go, wasn't planning to cut it quite that tight, but a win's a win, and it was just fantastic.
I'm not joking when I say that was the best race ever. A lot of respect for Honeywell, and they are without doubt the team to beat, and God, beating them is so sweet. So sweet.
Quite a big ask for a car to race that hard for 6 hours. Did it stay consistent?
So the tyres changed, but the car was itself just ran faultlessly, and it wasn't raced like an endurance race. I've never been in an endurance race where, you know, every single lap you've done has been close to sprint race pace, and yeah, the car just kept going and going and going. And I was sort of in my last stint, I started thinking, you know, this has got to be taking its toll on the car, but still going. The guys at Solutions done a fantastic job.
You had a lot of bad luck in 2011, but you've always known you've had the speed to win.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the two of us have been, you know, threatened numerous times last year, didn't we?
Yeah.
And this year we've really clicked together, and well, Phil's done an awesome job on prepping the car. It just makes our job so much easier. But yeah, it is a whole team. Everyone involved in the team has made it this year, definitely.
The car was like on rails. We put it in the right spot, of course, but the car just did everything. You know, it was fantastic. They could put a foot down and kept out of trouble.
and amazing. It's just amazing. I can't believe it, really.
Let's take a look at the new championship standings then. Team Honeywell lead the diesel class with 170 points. Eco are up to second on 158, and third are Track Talk Dominoes on 142. In the petrol sequential class, it's still Scarab Indigo that lead the way. Ecuria Scargo up to second place now. Spirit Fitness Team O'Brien down to third.
Well, that's just about it from Snetterton. We're halfway into the championship now, and just about the only thing we do know for certain is that in the Fun Cup, no 2 days are ever the same. Hope you've enjoyed watching. We'll see you next time.